So, what happens when you just decide to throw out every single piece of dietary advice you've ever heard and eat nothing but meat for, say, 1,000 days? Well, today, we're going to dive deep into the story of one man who did exactly that. And the transformation that followed, it's pretty astonishing. And it's all backed by data. For so many people, change starts with a rock bottom moment. And for a man named Dante, this was it. Picture this. He's in a Taco Bell drive-thru, weighs 302 pounds, and he catches his own reflection in the window. And in that split second, something just clicks. He knew he had to do something right then and there. He didn't even place the order. He just drove away. But he left with a mission. But, to really get how huge this change was, you have to understand the struggle that came before it. This wasn't just about dropping a few pounds for summer. We're talking about a decades-long battle with health issues that went way, way beyond the number on the scale. And I mean, look at this. His struggle started early. We're talking second grade, where his coaches literally had him running in a trash bag to try and manage his weight. Now, he fought like crazy to get down to 189 for wrestling in high school. But then life happened. Sedentary sales jobs in his 20s meant the weight just slowly crept back on, and then some, until he hit that peak of 302. And believe me, it was not for a lack of trying. Dante did everything we're all told to do. He went low-fat, he tried juicing, he ate salads until he couldn't stand them. He even had some pretty big success on the Atkins diet, lost 88 pounds in 6 months. But like it is for so many of us, it just wasn't sustainable. The weight came roaring back, and so did all the misery that came with it.
So let's just pause on that number for a second. 302 pounds. That's not just a number. It's the weight of years of trying and failing, of feeling frustrated and completely hopeless. That's the number that was staring back at him in that drive-through mirror.
But the number on the scale, that was just the tip of the iceberg. His body was basically in revolt. He had this chronic, awful gut pain that doctors just couldn't figure out. His job was causing him severe stress and anxiety, and on top of all that, his blood pressure was so high he needed medication for it. His whole system was just breaking down. So when you're facing a total system meltdown like that, what do? Well, for Dante, a moment of pure desperation led him to a really, really unconventional idea. Let's call it his all-beef epiphany. So he starts asking himself this totally wild, counterintuitive question. After a lifetime of hearing, eat less red meat, avoid fat, eat more plants, could the real answer be the exact opposite? Could the solution to everything actually be to eat only meat? And that's when he stumbled upon this concept called the lion diet. He heard the psychologist Jordan Peterson talking about it, and it's pretty much the simplest, most extreme elimination diet you can imagine. It's just meat from ruminant animals, so think cows, lamb, bison, plus water and salt. That's it. Nothing else. And this was the light bulb moment for him. Just hearing that it was even possible for someone to live on only beef was a shock. But then, hearing about the incredible health benefits Peterson was talking about, resolving autoimmune problems, better mental health, that was it. Dante decided right then and there, okay, I'm going to try this. I'll give it 6 weeks. Well, that 6-week trial turned into a 1,000-day journey. And the results, they weren't just good, they were absolutely life-altering. And they started happening almost right away. Now, here's what's so different from when he did Atkins. On Atkins, sure, he lost a ton of weight, but he felt sick the whole time. He had that constant keto flu for 6 straight months. This time, on the lion diet, the adaptation was super mild, and it passed really quickly. It didn't feel like a diet he was suffering through. It actually felt like a way of life he could stick with. And the changes just came so fast. I mean, within the first month, his blood pressure was back to normal and he got off his meds. That chronic gut pain he'd had for years, it just vanished. His energy and his mental clarity went through the roof. For the first time he could remember, he was sleeping like a rock and waking up at 4:30 in the morning, feeling amazing. And the constant hunger and cravings, totally gone. And get this, it took him 6 long months on Atkins to lose 88 pounds and hit his goal weight of 214. This time, he hit that exact same weight in just 125 days. The speed of the transformation was just staggering.
So here's the most important takeaway. The weight loss was almost a side effect. The real reason this stuck, the real motivation was the deep, undeniable healing he was feeling, both physically and mentally. He wasn't just a lighter person, he was a fundamentally healthier and happier person.
Okay, so he's feeling great. That's awesome. But what's going on under the hood? I mean, conventional wisdom screams that an all-meat diet should absolutely wreck your health markers. Well, Dante's lab work tells a very, very different story.
Let's start with something that is just mind-blowing. Before this, Dante was on testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, just to get his levels up to around 400. So after a few years on the lion diet, he decides to stop the TRT. His doctor warned him, your levels are going to crash. But guess what happened? His body, all on its own, started producing testosterone at 585, way higher than when he was on the actual medication. All right, now for the one everybody asks about, cholesterol. You'd think an all-meat, high-fat diet would be a total disaster here, right? Well, just look at these numbers. His LDL, the so-called bad cholesterol, actually went down to a perfectly healthy 91. And his HDL, the good cholesterol, it skyrocketed to 96, which is fantastic. But his triglycerides, well, that's the real story, 29. Okay, to put that in perspective, anything under 150 is considered normal. Under 100 is seen as optimal. 29 is just an incredibly low number. It's one of the strongest indicators you can have for excellent metabolic health and super low inflammation. It's just off the charts good. And what about the kidneys? That's the other big worry people always bring up with high-protein diets. Well, his doctor had noted that his kidney function, what they call eGFR, was kind of declining. It was down in the 60s. After years of just eating meat, it actually improved significantly, moving all the way up into the 80s. His kidneys were healthier than they were before. So when you put it all together, how amazing he felt and the actual objective lab numbers to back it up, it becomes really clear. This wasn't a diet anymore. This was him discovering a whole new way to live. So that little 6-week experiment he started, it just blossomed into his permanent way of life. And the reason it stuck wasn't about willpower. It was about results. When you feel that good, that healthy, that clear, going back to the old way of eating just isn't even an option anymore. And he made it work with a few really simple, practical rules. First, he prepares all his own food. That way, he controls every single ingredient. Second, he uses an air fryer. He says it's a game changer. Makes cooking steak fast, easy, and clean. Takes about 14 minutes. And third, if he's going to a party or a social event, he just eats a big meal beforehand so he's not tempted. Simple, right? But incredibly effective. You know, Dante's story really leaves us with this powerful, fascinating question. In a world that is obsessed with adding things, superfoods, supplements, new biohacks, could the real path to health be simpler? Could it be found not in what we add to our plates, but in what we have the courage to take away?